Hey guys, welcome to JJG Tennis, and today we're going to be getting into Rafa's forehand. So straight away you can see how during his preparation position on his unit turn, he keeps the right hand on the throat of the racket, and he's just using that for stability. It's very consistent to take the racket back with that right hand still on the throat of the racket. You'll notice a lot of the pros do this. And he gets into this preparation position before the ball lands on his side of the court. So you can see the ball's still in the air. It's not bounced yet. Just before the ball bounces, you'll notice how he goes into his racket drop. And the other thing I want to point out is if you notice his knee here, just as the ball's coming in to land, he starts to load on that back leg. And as he starts to load on that back leg, that's when he goes into his racket drop. And he just gets the racket going down, and he almost keeps the strings facing down. And that's actually the side of the racket that he's hitting the ball with, is the side that's facing down on the floor. The next thing I want you to look at is his right arm. And just look how that right arm is extending out to the side here. You can see it's really clear. He's really extending it out to the side, and that's basically just helping him coil his shoulders, and it's storing energy in his core by extending that arm. All that extension is helping him just store that energy. He's also using it for spacing. So if you pictured this space under his arm, he knows that if he keeps that right arm up, he's never going to let the ball get close to his body or get under that right arm. He knows that he has to make contact further out to the side, away from his body. And the next thing that I like to look at is his grip here. So he's in a slight sort of semi-Western forehand grip, and that's a very versatile grip. A lot of the best players in the world use this grip because it just gives you good access to spin and power. But he's holding the racket very relaxed here, so he's not tense on the handle. And because he's not tense, as he starts to uncoil his shoulders, so you can see he's almost pulling this right arm back in, which is helping him uncoil his shoulders. And as he uncoils here, his racket is naturally going to lag back behind him. And what is racket lag? Well, that's when the butt cap of the racket can almost face the other side of the court naturally. It's a natural position that he's got here. He's not trying to force that position. It's because he's relaxed, and he's also uncoiling and snapping through with his hip, that this kind of whip effect, this racket whip lag effect, just should happen naturally. So from here, he's going to start to extend his arm out to the ball here, and you can see how the racket's really lagging back behind him, and he's uncoiling with his shoulders. So you can see how his chest was side on in that position, and you can see how as he starts to uncoil, his chest now starts to face his opponent down the other side of the net. You can see how his left arm is really starting to drive out in an extended position here. So a lot of the best players in the world tend to hit with a straight arm, like Alcaraz, like Federer, like Del Potro, and of course Rafa himself. So you can see how far away from his body he's actually making contact. He's almost a whole arm and a racket's length away from the ball here. And this is basically just allowing him to maximize his leverage point to the ball. And more leverage usually means you're going to get a little bit more access to power, spin, and just depth through it, being able to extend through this contact a little bit more. As he's playing on clay here, he's really going to try and accelerate up the back of the ball. So one thing these pros do really well is just in this short space between contact and the ball, just between here and here, he's gonna be able to accelerate really quickly with his wrist, and that's what is creating a lot of RPM and spin on the ball. And as he sort of starts to follow through up, you'll notice the tip of the racket, he's actually almost closes the hand and almost gets the fingernails pointing out this direction. You can imagine that his hand is almost extending that way, and the tip of the racket likes to go down, pointing at the other end of the court as he starts to extend through the contact. And because it's Rafa, he does his classic over the head whip-like lasso on the follow through, and this just helps him deliver a lot of spin and height over the net. Usually when Rafa's playing on clay, he likes to clear the net almost like a double net, and by following through high over his head, he's just creating that arc over the net, giving him good access to spin and depth. So the main keys to really look out for is when we're looking at Rafa's forehand is how well and how seamlessly he does this racket preparation position. And you can see how he's reading with his eyes the opponent's ball, and as soon as he can see it's coming to his forehand, how early he's able to really prepare that racket head up with his arms here. And a lot of beginner players struggle with this. They struggle to anticipate the ball. So you can see, just as the ball's almost crossing the net, he's already prepared for his forehand. And if there was one thing I could give to beginner players to try and do is a little bit more of that. Just being as prepared as early as possible. You can see how the racket is back just as the ball's bounced. So now he's not going to be late to the contact. He's going to have enough time to do his full preparation and load in his legs and get his contact point out in front and not catch the ball late. And that's how he's able to really accelerate. Just like at the top of the game, you know, he's really able to hit that forehand to really devastate his opponent. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and that was Rafa's forehand, and I look forward to seeing you in the next. Thanks a lot. My name's Jack, and stay tuned for more videos.